You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Now, how can I make the categorical statement that all the hundreds of thousands of people, actually be millions of people that will be watching and listening to this are all good-looking? Because by definition, if you tuned into the joy of living, it means you're always looking for and finding the good in life. Looking for and finding the good in life. That's a good looking person. And you're going to be just so energized today because we have one of the most remarkably beautiful, bountiful, bold beings on the planet who's going to join us. Her name is Kate. I call her KY, and you'll understand why when we introduce and see her. But for now, for the moment, thank you first for joining us. And you've done it consciously and conscientiously for one reason and one reason only. And it's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U. And that's great, by the way, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love. Because you know that on this program, The Joy of Living, we speak about the three fundamentals of life, which enable you to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? So that, by the way, I just want to let you know, you're at this very moment joined by 348,613 people around the world, all of whom have tuned in consciously and conscientiously. And thank you. I am deeply humbled and honored. And by the time we bring on wonderful KY, we'll have over 365,000 people, because you keep inviting your friends and family, because you know this show is all about you becoming happier, healthier, wealthier. And we do it with the three fundamentals of life, which are, number one, life, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. Now, in this case, a good number two, you go mad. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover the power and the sequence of everyday words and terms. Everyday words and terms. Simple example. Right now, this is carried over the internet. www, what does that stand for? Ask anybody what does it stand for and have something to do with the internet. They'll tell you, of course, they're correct. But we know that www stands for what a wonderful world. And of course, thank you to Satchmo Louis Armstrong for enabling that song to go viral, not just touch tens of millions or hundreds of millions, billions of people on the planet who know the song, What a Wonderful World. And whenever you hear the opening bars, what do you do right away? You can't help it, you smile. Now, smile is one of the more important words you're going to internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now I'm back on the circuit, speaking to people, in real settings, no mask, and lots of hugging and good energy and just bold network type of stuff. And oftentimes, though, some people raise their hands and say, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. And I ask them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water to drink? Do you have food to eat? Do you have a place to live? Do you have family? Do you have friends? Every one of those is a miracle. What's a simple proof? Simple as proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or listening, you didn't. You have an obligation to live life to the full. Let's do a quick story. Imagine, if you can, me standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that evening being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed, so necked out. It's called a quadriplegic. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital, 2 years in the hospital bed in my own home, 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, my hips to my ankles for years, and that was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. I still can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. And I've helped 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of that one word. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. I'm going to tell you a quick story. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago. She says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, create stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. That's the key in life. Rethinking. It's called a shift in perspective. Now, I've been working with people for more than 42 years, and I can tell you 97.2% of everybody I work with, some reason they drop the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to be effing careful with your Fs. You got to shift your perspective just a tiny bit, and everything happens for the good. Because then you can internalize the 6 most important words you'll ever hear and then use them in your life. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine the trajectory and the direction of your life. Now, before we bring on wonderful Kate, KY, I want to tell everybody and warn you in advance, I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it for the shock value when it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, free, grow, gift, pray, play, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes, F-U, capital N, capital N. So right away, some people raising their hand and say, hey, Barry Shore, fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, spelled F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see your family and friends, point your fingers, say, F-U, everybody. Remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. So where'd you get that? So I listened to Barry Shore on The Joy of Living. He wants to teach the world to F-U, capital N, capital N. So just a moment, we're going to bring on wonderful KY. I just want to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life, because it will make you happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 2 words are, of course, thank you, thank you, thank you. Imagine you walk into a coffee shop and you sit down, you order your fancy latte, somebody brings it to you and say, thank you. Imagine you walk in the coffee shop, you order a fancy latte, you sit down, a few minutes go by, nobody brings it. You go to the counter and say, I'm sorry, we forgot, we're busy, we'll bring it to you. Sit down, a couple of minutes go by, somebody brings it, so say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you, say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop, it's raining, somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You're in traffic, you're late for an appointment, somebody cuts you off. You say, thank you. You get up in the middle of the night, and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and nurture kindness. KIND is a wonderful acronym. It stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody on the planet that inspires noble deeds more than wonderful Kate Yurenda. KY, please follow the 362,819 people around the world.
Hello.
She is such a boundless, beautiful, amazing, bold being who is bringing joy, happiness, peace, and love to the world. If I start telling you all the wonderful things about Kate, it would take up the rest of the show. So I'm going to tell you 3 things. Number 1, she's the founder of the Dream Bold Network. So if that doesn't grab your attention, there ain't much else that's going to happen. It's a conscious media platform. In addition to everything else, she's a healer. And that's her mission. Her mission is to mainstream ancient healing practices because we have difficulties today. And she's here to heal the world. And we do that one person at a time. So, Kate, let's just jump in right away. First of all, thank you for being here. By the way, I'm going to ask you, when was the last time somebody said F you to you and you laughed?
It's been a while.
F you, capital N, capital N. So let's just jump right in and talk about what you're so good at. How can someone, well, let's ask you, how did you activate your superpower and then find out how to help others activate their superpower?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was always into power of the mind, but then I stumbled on Qigong and different energy practices. And I realized that it's not just power of the mind, it's power of energy. And when you put the two together, you just activate all these superpowers. And we all have them within us. We all have these innate superpowers. They just need to be explored and practiced and executed. So I'm all about teaching humans how to step into that power because the human potential is so limitless. It's our quantum superpowers. And so now is the time to activate and take these steps. So I couldn't be more passionate about it, and it changed every aspect of my life. And the results are pretty immediate too, which is what blows my mind, how quickly someone can transform and come alive. Yeah.
Well, that's, I want to jump on that because that's part of what we said before about this idea of shift perspective. Now, again, you got to keep your F in place because otherwise the other stuff happens. The shifting of perspective can literally happen in a moment. When we do our workshops, and I've done workshops with as many as 1,176 people, have people stand up, move their right foot about 3 or 4 inches, take a breath, enjoy, and then move their left foot to the right foot 3 or 4 inches. And I say, you just shifted your perspective. That's how simple it is and how immediate. Let's hear about your journey. Now, by the way, everybody knows this that listens, but for the 20,000 people just tuning in, this is the podcast called The Joy of Living. And joy is a wonderful acronym that stands for Journey of You. Or in this case, Journey of Yurenda. So let's talk about the journey of you, wonderful Kate, and how it came about that you were able to step into superpower. So let's be blunt. When people hear superpower, they think of superheroes, so that those are the other people. The important thing is to understand, as you mentioned, every single human being, by definition, if you're a human being, by definition, you have superpowers. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct.
When and how did Kate recognize, oh, shift?
Well, I was on my own healing journey. I was feeling really unsatisfied. I was feeling lost and just hadn't tapped into my true purpose. And I knew I was meant for something really big and exciting in this world. I wanted to make an impact. And on my own healing journey, I just stumbled on these practices. And the next thing I know, I was teaching the classes. I was making films about these practices, and it had just taken over my whole life. And the thing is, we all are superhumans. That is our natural state. Our natural design is to have all of these powers and abilities and just all these things that we can do. We're so infinite, and it's like, why haven't we tapped into it? I just can't figure that part out. And so I'm doing everything I can to kind of restyle this ancient wisdom, these ancient practices, so that we all can access this and understand it. So it can be more fun and playful and exciting. It doesn't have to be this heavy, task or a lot of work or anything. It's fun, it's explorative. And so I'm all about just making it really, just interesting and fascinating so that people are like, oh, I can do that. It's relatable. So that's
by the way, that's a beautiful point. I can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to urge everybody, you can do this. Everything you want to know about Kate and what she's doing with Bold Network, just go to my website, www.whatawonderfulworld.barryshore.com, and everything about Kate will be there. So for this session, just listen, just watch, just let it flow in, around, and through you, and then come back and listen again and share this with 5 people. That's all. If you do that, that means we'll touch 1.5 million people. So just go to my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE, barryshore.com. We have people listening from all over the world. And that's the other point. This has no geography. There are no boundaries. We're talking about every single human being that exists on the planet, because wisdom is more ancient than the world. Well, let's talk about you again, Kate. When did this happen? Are you talking about the age of 3, the age of 13, the age of 22?
No, not that young. I would say it was about 2016 that I found Qigong initially. And that's when things really shifted because I was battling with depression and anxiety and I was feeling suicidal. I just didn't really want to be here. I wasn't really enjoying my life. And when I found this practice, all of a sudden that stuff just disappeared. It was like, wait, I'm not anxious anymore. I'm not depressed. I'm like, what's going on? Wait a minute. And it's all about reharmonizing and rebalancing the mind, the body, the soul, just really getting yourself in alignment. And that's what this is about. It's so simple because you're using breath work, using mild stretching, and it's matching and mirroring nature. So it just plugs you right back into our natural design. That's why it's so innate and so simple. It's like, wait, this is not complicated. Like kids get this instantly. I mean, give me 5-10 minutes with a child and you just watch them go, whoa, what is this? Like they can feel their own electromagnetic energy. They feel their power right in their hands. And you're like, oh, that's it right there. And now we're healing ourselves. Now we're healing each other. And now we've got a healed world. So we just have to teach kids and everybody else, of course, but just get people excited about it, you know?
Well, I want to urge everybody, if you're not watching, you should be, because the words are wonderful. They're flowing, they're great, they're energizing. But when Kate was describing something, I'm telling you, the eyes open. Just, you see, that's the genius of speaking about joy and power and happiness and love. It energizes the whole being. So the eyes open, they sparkle more. She became her. And as she said in Qigong, the ability to feel energy between the palms of your hand is so remarkable. It's so fascinating. You literally, it's as if you're holding the electromagnetic spectrum and it's emanating from you, through you, and with you. Let's talk about what this idea of a superpower is, because especially when it comes to you. You told us that you were not just sad, you were suicidal, you were anxious, you were depressed. I mean, those are big words. I'm sorry, but those are big words. And I don't associate them with you because I see you now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see you in a different state. But let's move back, because out of the hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people that'll be watching and listening, many people fall into those categories. People are stressed, anxious, distracted, worry, and have fear. Those are not relatable as superpowers. And as you said, if you don't want them anymore, those tendencies, the ability to shift and to get into a place of energy, bounty, beauty, beneficence, magnificent, munificent, is truly small. I'd like you to speak about that, if you'd be so kind, that shift is really small.
Yeah, the shift happens a lot easier and with a lot more simplicity than I actually ever thought that it could, because you really learn how to convert emotions and convert the energy. When you understand energy mastery, you can take stress and you can convert that into vitality. You can take the fear and you can recycle that into excitement. You get to move the energy. You learn how to modulate and regulate your emotions, your thoughts, your whole energy field. And this is where it gets really exciting. You realize, wait a minute, it's all up here. Everything's in our mind, right? Everything. So it's what we're visualizing. It's what we're emotionalizing. It's what we're focused on. So when we shift our point of awareness from what is missing, what is wrong, what is hurting us, our pain and our suffering, when we move it to the infinite potential of what we can imagine and what we can create, that's when life gets really exciting. And all of a sudden you take your power back and you're like, oh, wait a minute. I'm depressed because I'm stuck in some old mind movie from my past. I'm stuck in some trauma loop, whatever it is. We get really stuck and stagnant. And I see that with everybody in the world right now as a collective. So many people are looking backwards and they're stuck and they're emotionalizing things that they don't want to create and they don't want to attract in their life. So it's all about shifting that point of awareness and focusing on what you want, the joy, the love, the excitement, and raising your frequency. And once you do that, you're like, wait, this is much easier than anyone ever told me. Like nobody taught us how to do this. And so that's why I'm like, wait, we need to start teaching kids what I didn't learn, what I'm sure you didn't learn in school. Nobody was teaching us about emotional intelligence and power of the mind and how to activate life force energy. We just didn't learn this stuff. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, you mean they don't teach that in school. So we call this the school of life. I want to make mention of a couple of things. So wonderful Kate just told us about mind. And the mind is such a great acronym: magnificent insights, nurturing desire. And as you mentioned, what do you desire? Now, if in fact you want to be depressed and you want to be suicidal and you want to be anxious, well, then guess what? That's what you will manifest. However, if you ask 999,000 people out of 100,000, only one will choose the negative. Everybody else will choose the positive. The only question they're going to have is, well, Kate, how do I do this? So let's talk about how do I do this? Because you're the creator. And I love that word, by the way. Isn't it amazing? You're a creator. You know, we talk about God. Let's be blunt. God is wonderful. I love God. God is the creator, but he created us. He, she created us in the image of God. Therefore, by definition, we are creators. You're the creator of the BOLD network. Now, BOLD, for me, is a great acronym. It stands for Bountiful Opportunities Leveraging Desire. Again, it comes back to this desire, right? Isn't that great?
It's really
Bountiful
great.
Opportunity Leveraging Desire. What is it that you want? So let's speak to this real deep part of the being, you, wonderful Kate. What did you really want? You didn't want to be suicidal, anxious, depressed, or distracted, or worried, or fear. What did you really want? You wanted to be happy, healthy, wealthy. And guess what? It's all happening, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is happening. And you're right, it was a choice. And it's just taking those small incremental steps. You know, you asked like how that happened, how I went from that state to this state. And then I would say that one of the number one things is movement. A lot of people when they're depressed will just stay in bed, but you got to get up and move. It's so simple. You put your headphones into your favorite song, start dancing. You know, I always tell people like start dancing, start singing, start, you know, getting out in nature. That's huge, of course. Meditation is one of the greatest ways to convert any of those frequencies, any of those energies or those current states that you're in. Just movement and excitement. Like even you'll love this, Barry. Do you ever do smile meditation where you just look in the mirror for 30 seconds or a minute and you just smile? At first it seems a little ridiculous, but then you can't help it. You start to light up, like you watch your energy go whoop, like you can't help but be happy because you're leading with the body and then the mind follows. And so it's all about doing those little steps, doing the breath work, doing the stretching, just getting yourself in motion. You know, energy wants to move. So if we're not moving our bodies, our energy is going to be really stuck and stagnant. And that actually leads to disease and it just keeps us in a really low vibration. So you just want to move and activate. And so, and Qigong, of course, it's always going to be one of my number one recommendations. And there's so many resources online and they're all free. There's just like infinite resources. It's like guided meditations and sound healing, like just dive in and just explore.
So I want to unpack a couple of things you said because they are so vital. And vital, of course, is the essence of life, vitality. This is what I'm talking about. By the way, I have to tell you how much I appreciate you being here. It's so wonderful to be with another being that just radiates, right? I mean, this is what the word is called: grow, generating radiant, ongoing wisdom. That's what you do. You're generating radiant, ongoing wisdom. Hello. And I want to unpack and restate what you said. We're talking about tiny steps. She said, smile meditation, 30 seconds. Look in the mirror, laugh. She didn't say 30 minutes to sit cross-legged and go home. She's talking about 30 seconds. The ability to move energy works. And here's where it gets really fun. FUNN to the world. Here's where it gets really fun. Once energy starts moving, it wants to keep moving. And it loves you. Do you hear that? Most people don't feel love. They can think they can love other people, but they forget to love themselves. If you really want to fly, which is a great superpower, right? Ability to fly. Kate flies, by the way. I fly. You know what FLY stands for? First, love yourself. You want to love yourself? Look in the mirror for 30 seconds. And if you can't do that, do it for 3 seconds. But move, do what she says. Dance is one of the greatest opportunities of life. I happen to love skipping. To me, when I do big workshops or even small workshops, one thing I do is everybody knows how to walk. Everybody knows what running. But the greatest, the most cheerful, loving thing to do, skip. Matter of fact, I'm going to urge you, Kate, after we finish today, when you go outside or even in the house, when you go outside, though, certainly, just skip for half a block. That's it. Right? Isn't skipping fun?
It's super fun. You're right.
It is one of the greatest things to do. And it's what she said. It's moving energy. That is your superpower. Once you begin to understand that energy is what you are, much like water, everybody knows intellectually that we're 76% water. Well, guess what? You're 100% energy. Ah! Ah! You hear her laughing. Again, if you're not watching, you're missing out on something. But you got to understand that when Kate laughs and smiles, she's not doing it for her. She's touching the planet. Because I'm going to say something and you can correct me. Energy knows no bounds.
Mm-hmm.
When you put the energy, when it comes through you, because you're a conduit.
Mm-hmm.
You're a cog.
Mm-hmm.
Cog stands for channel of goodness.
Mm-hmm.
You're a child of God. So let's just take a look at something. The first another few minutes we have before we go to our break. We have sponsors that love us, so we urge everybody to patronize the sponsors and such. You are working on the Bold Network, or the Dream Bold Network, actually, and this conscious media platform. And part of what your superpower is and your amazing energy is to touch people everywhere in the world with film. Well, we won't even call it film. With energetic beings that are going to be put on something called a medium of visualization, right? So let's begin to talk about the vision that you have for the world and how it's going to morph into the movie. We'll keep the movie over here, but what is your vision for the world? That's a big thing. And tell us the steps that you're taking. And again, we're talking about somebody who was 7 years ago or 8 years ago, suicidal, anxious, depressed, distracted, worried, and fear. Ah! Now she has a vision for the world. Hello? Talk about your vision for the world.
Yeah, so my vision for the world is to definitely mainstream these ancient practices so that everyone's doing them. We see them in schools, we see them in retirement homes, we see them everywhere. I just, it's literally every human being that needs to understand energy. And so through film and just, through books, through different ways, I just love to share this information and kind of translate a lot of this wisdom. And so I just imagine a world where we're all going in, we're doing that inner work, we're healing ourselves. And if enough of us can vibrate in a high enough frequency by recalibrating that inner world, I'm visualizing a quantum leap. I'm going big on this. I dream very big and bold. I see us just doing this quantum leap where we have a harmonized reality. We have a healed world. And we have a world where we've all tapped into our innate abilities to co-create any reality that we want. You had mentioned creating. We're always in co-creation. It's just that most people don't have the awareness that every single thought creates an electric charge and every emotion is a magnetic charge. And when people can get that and we realize, wait, we're all powerful. We have an energetic signature that's going out into the quantum field and the universe is mirroring back our inner world. So if we can just heal the inner world, each person just says, you know what, I can't solve all the world issues right now, but I can heal myself. I can focus on my vibration, my energy. Where am I at? Am I in joy or am I in fear? Where am I at on that range of emotions, of energy? And so if we just become more aware, we're going to all start harmonizing. We're going to start healing and we're going to take that quantum leap. And I just see this totally different reality than what we see right now. And that's what quantum physics is about. It's about out vibrating your environment. So right now, most people are matching the vibration of our world, right? There's fear, so they bring in fear, or reactivity or anger or resentment, whatever it is. Everyone's in this lower energetic charge. And it's like, no, you need to send the world love, send the world compassion, empathy, like stay in that frequency, because if enough of us do it, and you don't need everybody to do it. It's not like we need every human to be in a state of joy to create a quantum leap. Otherwise I'd be like, ooh, that's tricky. I wouldn't be quite as optimistic. It's that you just need enough of us. And I'm seeing it so quickly with these practices that people just go from this frequency to just off the charts. And it's like, I just need enough people to step into that. And then we're going to see this massive transformation on a global scale. And so that's my vision.
Massive transformation on a global scale. And with those wonderful words, we're going to go for a break. Again, people, these are wonderful sponsors, patronize us. We'll be right back after this brief message. Don't go away. Massive transformation on a global scale. Wow. Opportunity, what an opportunity. I'm going to use 2 4-letter words right now. Free gift. Free gift. Yes, you can have a copy of my best-selling book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress and Be Happy, the ebook version for absolutely free. All you have to do is send an email to me, Barry, Barry, at barryshore.com, and in the heading, the subject line, just write free gift. It's as easy as that. This is a life-changing, life-enhancing opportunity. Barry at barryshore.com. You'll be glad you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Free gift. Do it now. Take the action. Make it happen right now. Best wishes. Bye. Imagine the kind of place you would want to shop for your favorite fur baby pet. HonestPets.co. Well, you found it. HonestPets.co. Not .com, .co. This is your go-to spot for the best, the cleanest pet treats that exist anywhere on the planet. All of the brands go through a rigorous review to make sure they meet the high standards of cleanliness, health benefits, and naturalness. This site was started by a husband and wife team, and it's veteran-owned, and that care about pets, especially dogs and cats, and coming soon, bird treats. These are very nice young people who really care about making a difference, because a portion of proceeds go to support veteran organizations with a focus on service dogs. This is the place where you want to go. You want to tell your friends this has the finest, yummiest, freshest, all-natural treats and stuff for your fur baby. So go there, honestpets.co. honestpets.co. Do it now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking. You're always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good in a being. At the moment, she's a physical being, but she's really an energetic being named wonderful Kate Yurenda. I call her KY. And she is talking about massive transformation on a global scale. And I said, wow. WOW is a great acronym, Kate, that stands for Words of Wisdom, Words of Wonder. And part of what you just imparted to us and the impact is that you begin with you. And when the you is the best you possible, your frequency is such that you can now be impacting the wonderful world around you. And it doesn't need 8 billion people. With a couple of million, it can work very easily, because that's the power of energy. That's the genius of energy. And again, comes directly from the creator. We are energy, just like most of us bodies is water. Our mind is complete, total energy. So let's continue with your vision, and let's see how your vision dovetails with this remarkable, again, we're calling it a movie, but it's really part of a movement. That's what the movie is about. It's a movement. Talk to us about what the movie is, what you want to do with it, who's involved, and just make us tingle.
Absolutely. So this film actually is a spin-off from a previous film I was working on called Searching for Superhumans. And
Say
that
it
was
again.
really
Say, what was the previous? I'm sorry, what was the
Search-
previous?
Searching for Superhumans.
Searching for superhumans.
Yes, yes, it was amazing. It has, Deepak Chopra and Wim Hof and just amazing people, or a lot of people from just different films and directors. And that spun off. And when we interviewed Marie Diamond from The Secret, she started putting us in a different direction, started introducing us to some friends, and that just sort of snowballed. And all of a sudden there were all these other interviews with Jack Canfield and people from, What the Bleep, and it was just unbelievable. It was like, wait, what is this film? And so it's just a spin-off of that. And there were, I think, about 25 interviews from that one. And even next level of it, it wasn't just the interviews, it was this law of attraction experiment I had been conducting since I had actually walked away from a PhD program. And so when I walked away from it, I was like, I'm just going to do something bigger. I was like, I'm all about law of attraction. I'm going to write a book about this. I'm going to conduct this experiment and prove it through experience that this is real, that we are creating our realities. And so did this experiment. And so the results were just unbelievable. I mean, I'd watch my vision boards just light up. I knew it's just like, wait a minute, everything I'm thinking of and imagining and visualizing is coming in, and in the most beautiful, effortless ways. And so it's that whole thing. And so it's one big global energy experiment. That's what it's actually called, Keep It Real. And it's just one big experiment. It's what can humanity achieve if enough of us start following these practices and just plug right back into our true power. And so it's my whole life. I couldn't be more passionate about it. And there's some amazing people in this film. It really is so inspiring. And what's so incredible too is these interviews were all done right before 2020 happened. Literally February 2020 was our last scheduled interview. And all of these interviews look like the solution to 2020. It's like it looks like they're all filmed after that. So I've just been kind of sitting on these interviews and I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And then Keep It Real kind of came through, and it's been quite a fun, wild journey, but cannot wait to release that film and wrap that up. We're almost done. I'm at the final stages here, but it's really exciting.
It's exciting. It's happening. I would like to share with you one small shift for you in something that you said, because you used the term twice, and I want to urge you to consider shifting and not using it again. You ready?
Yep.
Because you said it's unbelievable.
Oh.
Now, the word unbelievable means unbelievable. But we want to, I've taught myself this, it's taken years. It's fully believable. That's the point. What began to happen, let's say, with Marie Diamond, who was on my podcast, Jack Canfield, who was on my podcast, who wrote the foreword to my best-selling book, The Joy of Living, You Deserve It. It's fully believable because of what you told us. In other words, you're telling us that when you're in there with your superpower and you raise your energy level and you're doing it for yourself, you're in a healing mode for me. Me stands for manipulating energy. Like that? And the important part of that is that energy is a great word. Everybody loves it. Yeah. People shrink from the idea of manipulation. But we understand that manipulation done in the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant way is exactly what needs to be, because that's how you form and shape and mold and direct and channel. We don't want just amorphous energy. We want channeled energy. Am I right on that?
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
So is that fully believable? Is that possible? Is it fully believable?
Yes, it's fully believable.
Right. Everything you're doing is fully believable.
Yeah, it's miraculous, really.
That, by the way, that's the key. I was hoping you'd say that. Remember, we go back to this word SMILE. SMILE is an acronym that stands for seeing miracles in life every day. When you live in the world of energy, you are living in what other people call the miraculous, what we know to be the real world. See, it's very funny because we're making an idea of something. When you make a movie, they call it a reel, R-E-E-L, or Instagram reel, right? But we really know that's R-E-A-L. That is, the real world is exactly what's happening with Kate. She is boundless energy because by definition, energy is boundless. She is also channeled energy because unless and until you channel the energy, it is just amorphous. And then what she does is she creates that desire in everyone that touches her or is touched by her to raise themselves to a higher level of frequency. Am I correct?
Yes.
We call that, on the radio dial, it's called AM, FM, correct? Well, FM stands for frequency modulation. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the FM dial, frequency modulation. That's who we are as human beings. We're not just humans, we're human beings, right? So let's talk more about the movie. Where are you? What's happening? When will people be able to be touched by it? And some more details.
Yeah, it's definitely be a 2023 release. I still have a little bit more filming to do, and I'm taking my time. I want to make sure I do it the right way, because it's a very interesting project. It's like you just want to make sure that everyone can really grasp it all and understand it all, because a lot of it is a little over a lot of people's heads. You're talking about quantum physics, you're talking about stuff that is just unfamiliar. It's a different language, so I'm just making sure that I translate it.
Oh, very good. Very good. Wait a minute. That was I want to stop you there, not to stop you, but I think you just made a remarkably important point. I work with a lot of people in Pakistan, and the language of Pakistan is called Urdu. I don't Urdu well. You have to learn a different language. Well, what we're talking about here now is another language. The difference, if I may be so bold to say this, is that the ability to learn the new language is inherent in every being. It's not as if you have to struggle with learning Urdu or Latin or Greek or something. This is part and parcel of you. So once you open up and the energy field in your own being happens, by definition, you are able to learn the new language gently, easily, wonderfully. And look at that smile on her face, because this is true, right? Yeah. That's the genius of this language. It's part of you. It's not foreign to you. It's not outside of you. It's inside of you. This is the inner language of the real human being, R-E-A-L, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Wow. That is so much fun. F you. Wonderful, Kate, capital N, capital N. Okay, let's continue and talk more about the release, God willing, will be in the year 2023. And I want to go back to something you said about you finished your last interview at the time in February of 2020. And then the negativity hit. There is a very important foundational idea in the language of love that says that the healing process precedes the disease. I don't know if you knew about this, but healing process, the reason of healing, the ability of healing precedes the disease, not the other way around. Not that you have disease, now let's find a cure. The cure is given before the disease. That's why I found it fascinating that you said you completed something by February 2020, because you were packaging the cure. The disease came, and now you're offering the cure to the world.
Oh, I love that.
How did that make you feel, Kate?
Ooh. I love that, and for so many reasons, because even going back to Qigong is the art and science of preventing disease and illness. It's about not waiting until you get sick to take action on your health. It prevents it. Like when you're doing Qigong, you're in such a high state, you can't create disease and illness in the body. You're rising above it essentially. So that's what I see. You talk about 2020. I call that the awakening. I believe that collectively, even though there was so much suffering and all that's very real, it was also we all got on common ground. We were all in it together, all across the world. It didn't matter who you were. We were all in this together, and it woke us up. It woke us up to a lot of things. A lot of people have even sought out healing modalities just because of 2020. Like a lot of people were like, wait a minute, health is the most important thing. Like that, it is, again, kind of that awakening where it's like, we need to take better care of ourselves. So now people are taking health more seriously. They're diving into these practices more. And I think it's just making people take more action and go, you know what? It's time for some change in our world. And that's a beautiful thing. There's always a silver lining with everything. And I think if enough of us just focus on that silver lining and we just keep out vibrating our current, world state. I believe that we really can transform and really nullify these lower frequencies. That's what this is all about. So that's what this film, it's not just that we're talking about the solutions, it's that we're actually showing people step by step practical approaches and things that they can do in their home. So I visualize when people are watching this film, you have a family sitting on the couch and they're all rubbing their hands together, activating their life force, and they're going, whoa, I feel it, I feel it. And then all of a sudden they're learning how to heal each other. I'm like, okay, what if we all put our intention, we all put our focused energy on each other? Can we heal each other? Of course we can. I watch people heal things like this, and I mean crazy things where it's like their shoulder's been injured for months and doctors haven't been able to fix it. And in just a few moments, a few of us activate some energy, send that intention, and they're like, wait a minute, like, where is it? It's gone. I'm like, it was stuck energy.
And it's fully believable.
Yeah, it's true. It happens all the time.
Fully believable.
It's believable.
And I must jump in and say to you, it's because it has to be that way, because that's who we are. We are energetic beings. So when you mention the word disease, everybody's heard the word disease. The word disease is two parts, dis and ease. Yeah. Everybody wants to live in ease, have the energy flow. We all know that to be dissed is not a good thing. Nobody likes being dissed. Well, that's what dis-ease is. We eliminate dis-ease by stop dissing ourselves. We are at one and the same time our greatest healer. Am I correct?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And we're the greatest cause of the other.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
If you can cause the dis-ease, by definition, you can eliminate it and cause ease of motion. And I can see Kate dancing around the room, and I can see thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, millions of people dancing around the world, even if all they're doing is just moving their arms and such. For me personally, I can't get out of this chair because I'm still practically paralyzed from waist down, but I can move my arms. I swim. For me, swimming is my dance. And that's what it's about. It's the ability to move that energy. And again, me is manipulating energy and using it to be of benefit to oneself and to others. Once you do that, your frequency is at a different place altogether. And that's how you live. You're skipping down the street, even if you're just walking, even if you're standing still. And I love go back to your looking in the mirror and say, ha ha, look at that face. I love it. Okay, so where do we go from here? Wonderful, Kate. You're finishing, or not finished, you're completing this project that will be given over to the world, and God willing, this year. And are we going to accompany it with gatherings, let's say, of small groups, larger groups, thousands of groups streaming around the world? So I can envision 25 million people watching the streaming of the Bold show. I can see that. Right? That's what we want to do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. Good. Thank you. So we want to touch as many people as possible with this energetic being. So again, I want to ask you, when did this first come into you that this is your mission for life?
Originally with Dream Bold Network, that vision came in about 2016. And, in a very unclear way in the beginning, it was just a website to promote a book. That's all it was in the beginning. But I was like, the name just kind of channeled through. Everything I create is channeled through. I get out of my own way, and I'm a conduit, that's a portal for those downloads. And it's just constant stream of data and information. And I just try to catch everything. So I'm like, okay, what are we doing now? And so it's all just channeled through. It's coming from a higher source energy. It's coming from that one mind, and it's just coming through. And I truly believe that with Dream Bold Network, it's like if we just get enough of us realizing that we are all Dream Bold Network, like we all have the ability to dream and to be bold and take action, and we're all connected energetically. Like, that I think that's one of the biggest things in our world right now. It's like everyone's feeling so separate from everyone else. They're feeling isolated, they're feeling lonely, and it's like, wait, we're all one, we're all connected. And it's like we think that there's all this empty space around us, but it's like this is a field of data and information. This is the biofield, the quantum field, the field of love. There's different names for it, but it's where all these waves of energy are traveling. That's what's so cool about this energy stuff. It's like it can travel across the world. I could do a Reiki session on someone across the world, and I've had people do it to me, and you're just being supercharged. You're like, how is this possible? It's through a Zoom call, and you're charging me up. Like, how is this? But of course, it's traveling through the field. And so, yeah, it's just Dream World Network's all about connection. That's really what it is. It's like all of us being connected to source energy, connected to ourselves, connected to our powers, and being connected to each other. And yeah, I kind of went on a little rant there, but
this is wonderful. As we said,
it's
you're a cog, you're a channel of goodness, a child of God. And I'm going to share with you one thing that I learned from this remarkable being. His name is Bernie Siegel. And if nobody's ever heard of him, you should look him up, do a search. He's been on my podcast. He's one of the greatest expositors of health. He wrote several of the most important books about how to beat cancer when all the doctors were saying, well, it's radiation and things like that. And he said, hello, it's about dancing. It's about health. It's about smiling. It's about love. And that was 40 plus years ago. He's an amazing guy. So he taught me this wonderful word called guidance. Guidance, Guidance. You're going to love this. Ready? G stands God, you, and I dance.
Yes. That's beautiful. I love that.
But that's what this is about. That's why, as I said, I'm so honored to be with Kate today, because as she pointed out, the genius of energy is that once we reach out one person to another and to another and to another and to another, and we create what's called a tsunami of goodness. There is nothing, there's no wall, there's no mountain, there's no ocean, there's no force in the world that can prevent the spread of energy. Positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant energy goes everywhere. And it's incumbent upon each one of us to make sure that that's what we're doing. And every time you think a good thought, as you pointed out, wonderful Kate, and you speak a good word, and you do a good action, then what you're doing is you're creating the energy that causes a shift in the world into the realm of goodness. And again, all believable, completely, totally believable, because we know that it works. So we are, for the one that we're just at the point of time where we need to bring it all together and create a package and put a bow on it so people will love it. Again, if you've been watching this, you can see this boundless being beaming forth, and it's really worth it. If you're listening, well, that's great as well. And again, share this with 5 people, because then we'll have over 1.5 million people touched by the hand of God or the goddess, the energy. Everything is there for you. It's all available. And she said it's a language, but the language is yours. It's part and parcel of you. By definition, you are a human being, and therefore you tap into it, and it's all there. And the shift happens gently, easily, and almost immediately. And what a wonderful feeling. By the way, you mentioned the word people. People are separate and people feel alone, right? Mm-hmm. So you said also in the next phrase something that's wonderful. The people use that word A-L-O-N-E and they just mispronounce it. Don't read it alone. Read it all one.
Ooh. Yes.
It's just that shit. Once you see that word A-L-O-N-E, you'll never see it the other way. You'll always see it as all one.
Right. Oh,
so if you're feeling A-L-O-N-E, that's great. Just say, wow, I'm all one.
Yes.
Wonderful, Kate. We have 3 questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number one, will you come back again?
Anytime you want. I love this.
Woo! Thank you. Number two, and this is, you only have 80 seconds for this, 80 seconds. What is your most fervent desire?
Ooh. Wow. Okay. I guess my most fervent desire is to create world peace. I mean, it's like that. It's like it's to conduct this energy experiment and see it just take off, where people are just coming alive, tapping back in, tuning back in, and we're seeing this on a global scale. Like it's to see this vision projected outward across the globe. You know, like that's what my desire is. It's just, I want to see kids in the park doing Qigong. I want to see people dancing on the beach. I want to see people like go back to our natural state of play and enjoy and everything. Just like unleash. I want to see humanity unleashed. That's my big desire.
Joy. And the third, may I give you a hug in front of 369,826 people around the world?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'll tell you what hug stands for. Hug stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Count to three. 1, 2, 3. And of course, you're listening to The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and our amazing guest, Kate Yurenda, KY of the Dream Bold Network. And you've tuned in, and you tuned in for one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you, Y-O-U. And that's great, because when you care the most about you become the best you possible. You create more bridges of harmony. You bring more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And you know you do this with the three fundamentals of life, which enable you to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. The three fundamentals, of course, are, number one, life has a purpose. And when you live a purpose-driven life, number two happens. You go mad. MAD is a great acronym that stands for make a difference. Number three is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms, such as WWW, what a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, like Kate says. Create your world, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. And you do that by understanding the 6 most important words you got to internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life. Choice, like she says, choice, not chance determines your destiny. Use 4-letter words like love, life, hope, free, gift, play, pray, swim, and tell the world F you. Capital N, capital N. After the show, you see family and friends say, what's that all about? I said, hey, I listen to Barry Shore, The Joy of Living. He wants to teach the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. I said, what's that about? I said, well, he had on this person named Kate. She wants to raise the level of energy for the world. And use the 2 most powerful words of the English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. And they are, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. The Dalai Lama is quoted saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. And he says, always possible. Kind, keep inspiring noble deeds, as wonderful Kate does. So we're going to give a blessing from Kate and Barry. And that is, go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Kate, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.